that Russia is planning to stage fabricated attacks by Ukrainian military or intelligence forces as a pretext for a further invasion of Ukraine. One possible option the Russians are considering, and which we made public today, involves the production of a propaganda video, a video with graphic scenes of false explosions, depicting corpses, crisis actors pretending to be mourners, and images of destroyed locations or military equipment, entirely fabricated by Russian intelligence. To be clear, the production of this propaganda video is one of a number of options that the Russian government is developing as a fake pretext to initiate and potentially justify military aggression against Ukraine. We don't know if Russia will necessarily use this. We don't know if Russia will necessarily use this or another option in the coming days. We are publicizing it now, however, in order to lay bare the extent of Russia's destabilizing actions towards Ukraine and to dissuade Russia from continuing this dangerous campaign and ultimately launching a military attack. Russia has signaled it's willing to continue diplomatic talks as a means to de-escalate, but actions such as these suggest otherwise. We will continue to diligently work together with our allies and partners to expose Russian disinformation and other hybrid tactics used against Ukraine. We continue to work to prevent any effort Moscow might make to justify further military action in Ukraine. We again urge Russia to stop its destructive and destabilizing disinformation campaign, to de-escalate tensions, and to engage in diplomacy and dialogue for a peaceful solution. Thank you.
Okay, well, that's quite a mouthful there. So you said actions such as these suggest otherwise, suggest meaning they suggest they're not interested in talks and they're going to go ahead with some kind of a... What action are you talking about?
One, the actions I've just pointed to.
What action?
The fact that Russia continues to engage in disinformation campaigns.
You made an allegation that they might do that. Have they actually done it?
What we know, Matt, is what I have just said, that they have engaged in this activity, in this planning activity. But let me because obviously this is not the first time we've made these reports public. You'll remember that just a few weeks ago.
I'm sorry, made what report public?
If you'll let me finish, I will tell you what report we made public. We told you a few weeks ago that we have information indicating Russia also has already prepositioned a group of operatives to conduct a false flag operation in eastern Ukraine. So that, Matt, to your question, is an action that Russia has already taken.
It's an action that you say that they have taken, but you have shown no evidence to confirm that. And I'm going to get to the next question here, which is, what is the evidence that they... I mean, this is like crisis actors, really? This is like Alex Jones territory you're getting into now. What evidence do you have to support the idea that there is some propaganda film in the making?
Matt, this is derived from information known to the U.S. government, intelligence information that we have declassified. I think you know.
Okay, well, where is it? Where is this information?
It is intelligence information that we have declassified.
Well, where is it? Where's the declassified information?
I just delivered it.
No, you made a series of allegations and statements.
Would you like us to print out the topper? Because you will see a transcript of this briefing that you can print out for yourself.
That's not evidence, Ned. That's you saying it. That's not evidence. I'm sorry.
What would you like, Matt?
I would like to see some proof that you can show that.
Matt, you have been...
That shows that the Russians are doing this. Ned, I've been doing this for a long time.
I know, that was my point. You have been doing this for quite a while. You know that when we declassify intelligence information, we do so in a means... We do so with an eye to protecting sources and methods.
Is not going to fall.
So, with an eye to protecting sources and methods.
Is not going to fall. I remember a lot of things. So where is the declassified information other than you coming out here and saying?
Matt, I'm sorry you don't like the format, but we have declassified.
It's not the format; it's the content.
I'm sorry you don't like the content. I'm sorry you are doubting the information that is in the possession of the U.S. government.
No,
what I'm telling you is that this is information that's available to us. We are making it available to you in order for a couple reasons. One is to attempt to deter the Russians from going ahead with this activity. Two, in the event we're not able to do that, in the event the Russians do go ahead with this, to make it clear as day, to lay bare the fact that this has always been an attempt on the part of the Russian Federation to fabricate a pretext.
Yeah, but you don't have any evidence to back it up other than what you're saying. It's like you're saying, we think we have information the Russians may do this, but you won't tell us what the information is. And then when you're asked,
that is the idea behind deterrence, Matt. That is the idea behind deterrence.
And when
it is our hope that the Russians don't go forward with this. What the information is,
you say, I just gave it to you. But that's not what
you seem not to understand. You seem not to understand the idea of deterrence. We are trying to deter the Russians from moving forward with this type of activity. That is why we're making it public today. If the Russians don't go forward with this, that is not ipso facto an indication that they never had plans to do so.
But then it's unprovable. I mean, my God, what is the evidence that you have that suggests that the Russians are even planning this?
Matt,
I'm not saying that they're not, but you just come out and say this and expect us just to believe it without you showing a shred of evidence that it's actually true. Other than when I ask, or when anyone else asks, what's the information? You said, well, I just gave it to you, which was just you making a statement.
Matt, you said yourself, you've been in this business for quite a long time. You know that when we make information, intelligence information public, we do so in a way that protects sensitive sources and methods. You also know that we declassify information only when we're confident in that information. If you doubt the credibility of the U.S. government, of the British government, of other governments, and want to find solace in information that the Russians are putting out, that is for you to do.
I'm not asking what the Russian government is putting out, and what is it supposed to be?
The video, because U.S. officials are describing very specific scenes, but do they actually have a video?
The fact that we are able to go into such great detail, obviously I'm not going to spell out what is in our possession, but I will leave it to you. I will leave that to your judgment.
There are no facts that you've spelled out.
Coming days. Do you have evidence this was intended to come out in the coming days?
We've said, Ben, for some time now that the Russians have positioned forces. They have undertaken preparations that if Putin decides to move forward with an invasion, they're positioned to do so. They are poised to do so.
In the coming days, I mean, is that a timeline that you felt that this was going to happen imminently?
Well, we know what they are planning for. We know the contingencies that they have engaged in. And again, these are the kinds of steps that they are poised to undertake if that decision is made. Our goal in all of this is to deter an invasion, to deter this type of activity. So we certainly hope it doesn't take place. We are making clear what we know so that in the event it does take place, it will be clear to the world what this actually was and what it was not.
And the pre-positioned teams, when do you suggest they were pre-positioned? Is it going back months? I mean, or is this a more recent deployment?
Well, this was something that we made public several weeks ago now. So several weeks ago, we said that information available to us indicated that Russia had already pre-positioned a group of operatives to conduct a false flag operation in eastern Ukraine.
Was it recent at that point? Because if they had come across just a few weeks ago, that would be a Russian aggression across the border, which you've warned time and time again would result in, severe consequences.
Ben, you know that the sort of hybrid activity that we've been pointing to, much of it has been going on since 2014. Obviously, we're very attuned to any Russian aggression against Ukraine that may take place in this atmosphere, given the heightened tensions. Andrea?
Is this in any way connected to the previous report, as another phase of the previous report? The previous report, that the British put out that was then confirmed to have come originally from American sourcing.
This is all part and parcel of a broader effort. I'm not going to speak to how various streams of intelligence, now declassified information, may or may not stitch together. But what we know is that Russian military and intelligence entities for some time now have been engaged in this type of activity. We know that it was a very similar set of tactics that they undertook in 2014 as a means by which to fabricate a pretext for the invasion that took place some 8 years ago. So that is part of, that certainly is part of the concern. The other element of the concern is not only the historical aspect of it, the fact that we have seen this before, but the fact of what we are seeing now. What we are picking up now through means that, of course, we can't get into, but that has produced information available to us in which we are confident. We know that, similarly, that Russian military and intelligence entities are engaged in a broad disinformation and propaganda effort. This includes malign social media operations, the use of overt and covert online proxy media outlets, the injection of disinformation in television and radio programming, hosting of conferences designed to influence attendees into falsely believing that Ukraine, not Russia, is at fault for heightened tensions in the region, the leveraging of cyber operations to deface media outlets and conduct what are known as hack and release operations. To give you one example, we know that Russia's Federal Security Service, or the FSB, directly tasks and influences proxy media outlets, for example, Newsfront, to publish content that denigrates Ukraine and falsely depicts it as the aggressor. Articles written by this and other outlets, as a result, have made their way not only to pro-Kremlin proxy outlets, but also official Russian state media outlets like RIA Novosti and others. You know that the other week we put out a great deal of information on Russia's disinformation and propaganda efforts. This has been long running, but we also know that this type of activity has accelerated in recent weeks, which further fuels our concern. To give you just one example, during December, a couple months ago, Russian language content on social media covering the narratives that we've talked about, the lie that Ukraine is the aggressor, the lie that it is Russia that is being threatened, increased to an average of nearly 3,500 posts per day. That was a 200% increase from the daily average just the month before. And it was the month before that we had seen a similarly large spike. So we are quite concerned by all of this. We're concerned by the specifics, but we're also concerned by the broader trends that to us are reminiscent in many ways, many disturbing ways, of what we saw in 2014 and what we fear we may be seeing a replay of now.